what we Filipinos, or what people, any citizen really wants to feel, is that no one is above the law, diba? That actually, finally, especially for these victims, no one is above the law. But as you mentioned, this untouchability would have continued if not possibly for political situation, diba? And that's what Kaufman has been touting, that it's simply because of this rift between BBM and VP Sara that pushed him to actually, let's say, quote unquote, possibly join forces with the ICC and cooperate with this type of investigation. If that had not happened, we would not be seeing this situation. We would not be seeing him accountable at the ICC. So can you say that there's still a risk of untouchability at these levels of office, and it's all it could be very much politically aligned, a political misalignment here?
Well, I mean, that's exactly where you can see Kaufman's argument wouldn't even pass in a high school debating team, right? Like, immediately is admitting there's politics involved. So that tells you the justice system, there's something wrong. Number two, the politics was working in the other direction, right? The idea was that if there was no political fallout, Duterte would have been protected. Well, except nagkaroon ng political fallout, so Marcos did not protect. So Marcos did not go after Digong. He just stopped protecting Digong. That's what happened, right?
True.
So they cooperated with what would have been the status quo under any normal, sane, democratic, right, and law-abiding government. So Marcos did not work against Digong. He just stopped protecting Digong. Because had Marcos not been a Duterte ally, 2022, 2023 pa lang, there could have been major moves, right? So that's where I'm saying, like, Kaufman could not even pass a high school debating team standard, right? So that's where I find a lot of problem. Nevertheless, bilang isang Pilipino, I'm embarrassed with the situation. As much as I'm happy to see an element of justice, na-meet ko yung mga biktima, yung mga nanay ng mga biktima, people have been demonized and attacked at binabastos hanggang ngayon. You see the disinformation. I don't know how much Kaufman is helping into this process by what he's doing, trying to besmirch the evidence and the witnesses, etc. But the reality is, this nakakaya na umabot sa ganitong situation. Because yes, as a certain senator said, ideally, dapat our domestic courts took care of this. So that's why what's happening right now is very tragic. It's really a reflection of the failure of our domestic judicial institutions, right? And that's why hindi lang tayo umaasa sa ICC to take care of this situation, because as I mentioned a while ago, may limitasyon din ng ICC. It can only go after the big perpetrators, the chief architects, and in terms of execution of arrests, napaka-complicated yan. There's no assurance that the other chief perpetrators will be brought to justice, or at least brought to trial or detention in the ICC. So ultimately, we have to take care of this, because libo-libo sa ating kababayan na namatay. Dapat tanongin natin, paano tayo umabot dyan? Anong ginagawa ng institution natin? And to be fair, when we say justice system, it is not only the judiciary. Anong ginagawa ng justice secretaries natin? Paano Digong? Anong ginagawa ng mga iba't ibang ahensya na may kinalaman sa investigasyon, right? At not to mention, anong ginagawa ng ating legislatura? What was the checks and balance that was happening there, right? Did the Senate put up a strong fight? Remember, we ratified the Rome Statute. So there was a Senate input before we became party to the ICC, basically the regime, right? But Digong unilaterally took us out. And then medyo nag-ingay lang ng konti si Coco Pimentel, and that was it. There was no collective pushback against that. We don't even see what the Democrats are doing to Trump. And the Democrats are already being bashed as being so weak in the United States and not standing up to Trump. Well, in our version, I'm sorry, the opposition, our independents, our legislature, a lot of our politicians were close to pathetic. They were completely useless, right? In terms of holding Duterte to account. Kaya umabot tayo sa situation na yan. So I hope we have a soul-searching, and we also come up with mechanisms, including Truth and Reconciliation Commission or Truth and Facts-Finding Commission, security sector reforms. Marami tayong kailangang gawin para ayusin yan, because hindi lang sila Digong ang involved dito. Maraming rank and file ng kapulisan, maraming mga tao na kulang, kaya umabot tayo sa libon-libong mga katulad ni Kian de los Santos na namatay under circumstances that are extremely suspicious, and some would see as extrajudicial killings and mass atrocities. So to deal with that, we have to accept we failed as a whole system. Duterte was untouchable as a mayor, even more untouchable as a president, and almost untouchable until BBM was not interested in protecting him anymore. And that is an indictment of our democratic system and the failure of our justice system.